Hello everybody, welcome to Haiku Talk. I'm your host, Ben Ga, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet, and welcome to the first episode of 2023. In this episode, we're going to take a look at a piece from the winter 2022 issue of Akitsu Quarterly, which is fresh in mailboxes. And it's a piece from Barrie Levine with the first line of Steady Snowfall. So, before we get into that, you know what time it is. It's time to grab yourself a tasty beverage. Let's sit back, relax, and haiku. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be with you in this January of 2023 to go through another haiku. And my cat, Anastasia, is making some noise in the background with one of her toys, so that's just how things go. This is a nice piece from a very nice journal. Again, Akitsu Quarterly. Barrie Levine. The poem goes like this. Steady snowfall, her silver hair, the length of winter. Steady snowfall, her silver hair, the length of winter. Quite a beautiful piece. And one that, despite it being a very warm day here in St. Louis, is a reminder of the season that we find ourselves in, which is winter. And as with the last one of 2022, which was a nice poem about time, this is another poem about time, about what we do in periods of seasons and kind of personal ways that we can measure it. In this case, the length of winter is seen and reflected upon the length of hair. Very nice. And I'm one that can attest to this. If you look back at all the episodes, you'll see longer beards, longer hair, shorter hair, trim beards. It's definitely one that speaks to me and one that I definitely notice. People growing things out, letting things grow before the spring hits, when people will get things cut, lighten things up for the warmer months. And this is a beautiful piece. It follows the fragment and phrase structure with the first line of steady snowfall being the fragment, and the phrase juxtaposed with it is her silver hair, the length of winter. So nice. And let's break this down line by line to show how it works. So that first line, steady snowfall, ... Beautiful. It's a really nice line. Definitely puts you in a moment. You know it's cold. You know you're someplace inside watching the snowfall coming down steadily. And it's just a really lovely image. I know it conjures up many, many, many moments in my life watching the snowfall. And if you're like me, you really get sucked into watching moments of nature. And I've relished days gone by where I could sit down and just watch it snow all day and just watch the trees get further, the snow climb further and further up the trees, watch deck chairs and stuff slowly get covered. It's a wonderful thing to watch and to partake in. And so that's what line one is doing here. It's setting up in the scene. It's pulling our imaginations, getting us warmed up for where we are. And it gives us that ellipsis to, really see and settle into that snow and really pause before we get to line two. So good first line. Line two, her silver hair. Her silver hair. Now, very telling as well. We know a thing or two about the her in this poem because of the suggestive language of silver. So we know most likely this is a person of middle to older age, unless it's one of the youth kids that like to dye their hair gray, which is kind of a thing that I don't quite understand, but what have you. So we have the steady snowfall, and we have a woman who has silver hair. And as haiku do, they're supposed to reach into your imagination and pull out a scene, pull out a person, pull in a her from your life story of somebody that has silver hair. I mean, it might be yourself, it might be a loved one, grandmother, mother, somebody in your life who had silver hair, and somebody that you might have been indoors with at some point watching snowfall together. It's very nice. And that leads us into the third line of the length of winter. The length of winter. Wow. And that's what clinches it home for you. Lets us know that not only do we see the silver hair, not only is the snow falling, but the hair has been growing, and it shows the length of winter, which leads us to imagine or believe that this person normally has shorter hair, but over the course of winter, it gets long. And the fact that this person doesn't color their hair, lets it be silver, connects it to the natural surrounding of the snow outside, and paints a real pretty scene of time passing, not only in the moment that's captured in the poem, but also in the way that time passes on us personally, not only with hair getting longer, but also hair getting silver. And the fact that we're in with this person suggests a relationship to this person, and we're noticing that the hair is silver, which means that we've known this person a long time, and at some point the hair was another color, you know. And so all of these little things, these little tricks in the poem, sets up the scene so that you can paint the picture, just really step inside this moment and fill it in with the details of your life. And again, haiku uses, I call it the 3 S's of haiku language: simple, succinct, and suggestive. So simple language, you know, there are no words here that require you to look them up in the dictionary. Nothing here that's going to stumble you from getting to the beginning of the poem to the end of the poem. Nothing that's going to throw you a loop. Succinct language. We get just enough information for what the scene is. The thing we know about snowfall is that it's steady. The thing we know about the hair is that it's silver hair. And we know that it is winter because we have the specific name of winter, but we also know that winter has set in long enough to see that hair grow. And, you know, so it's succinct in the details. And it's suggestive, which again prompts you to reach into your imagination, reach into your life story, to fill in all the space around this poem so that you can probably describe in detail what room you're in, who the her in the poem is with you, what your relationship is to that her, what the snow looks like, what time of day it is, you know, what else is going on in the room with you, what are you wearing, you know, what is happening. And that's what makes haiku such a nice gift to the reader, because it is about the reader. As you know, I'm sure Barrie Levine, you know, when I look at this poem, I don't see the poet there. I'm trained, so I know all of the tricks that's being used here, but I don't see the poet and the poet's life and the poet's specific relationship to the her and this and that. Instead, I see myself. I see a moment that I'm stepping into. I'm seeing my grandma. I'm seeing, people that I know, the room that I'm in, the time of day, a late afternoon, looking out, you know, at my grandma's house, grandma and grandpa's house, looking out over the snow, watching it fall. I'm old enough to know that my grandma's hair is white, and old enough to know that happens when you're old. And it's just a really nice moment that I'm taken into, and I get to relive because of this poem. And that's a real gift. A real gift. And there are many such gifts in journals like this, Akitsu Quarterly. And it's a whole nice little treat to get to go through one of these books, one of these new issues. And it's also a treat to share some time with you. So thank you very much for tuning in for another episode. Like this if you happen to like it. Think about subscribing to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. It does help me out to show up in the algorithms and search engines and so forth. And think about ringing the bell if you do subscribe to get notified when new episodes arise. Until next time, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful start to your new year. Looking forward to another year of wonderful haiku moments that appear in more episodes of Haiku Talk. And until next time, cheers.